is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
Hello and welcome tonight. President Bola Tinubu transmits a constitutional amendment bill to the Senate seeking state police creation to strengthen security and reshape Nigeria's policing architecture. Lagos State Police Command begin investigation into the delivery of a suspicious parcel containing live ammunition to the Managing Director of First Bank PLC, Oluwasegun Alebioshu. Federal government reaffirms its commitment to tackling various security challenges threatening national and regional peace as National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu promises continued partnerships to combat threats. And President Donald Trump says there will be no further U.S. naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, insisting Iran has agreed to nuclear inspections despite denials.
On business news, the World Bank reports that Nigeria and 8 other nations dominate global gas flaring, accounting for 83% of total volumes in 2025.
On sports news tonight, Nigeria Football Federation reaches agreement to extend the contract of Super Eagles coach Eric Schell until 2030.
And from the nation's capital, Ekiti, State Governor Biodun Oyebanji receives his certificate of return from INEC following his victory in last Saturday's governorship election.
President Bola Tinubu has transmitted a constitution alteration bill to the Senate seeking the establishment of state police services as part of efforts to reform Nigeria's security architecture. The proposed legislation contained in a communication dated June the 15th this year was read during plenary today by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. According to the President, the bill is designed to provide a legal framework for a dual policing structure in Nigeria, allowing states to establish and operate their own police services alongside the federal police. Our National Assembly correspondent, Gloria Umezoke, reports.
Barely 2 weeks after the Senate passed an executive bill on state police through second reading, lawmakers have reconvened for an emergency plenary during the recess to receive a fresh constitution alteration bill.
We have also distributed...
The Senate President presents the bill seeking to amend relevant provisions of the 1999 Constitution to create a constitutional pathway for the establishment of state police services.
This bill builds on the significant work already done in this regard by the House of Representatives and the Senate and incorporates additional safeguards to ensure that the creation of a dual policing structure to address our nation's evolving national security challenges will be achieved quickly and effectively to the benefit of all Nigerians. And I'm confident that the Senate will act quickly to consider and pass this bill.
Against this backdrop, the Senate President tries to allay fears by underpinning the significance of community-based policing.
Just read is referred to the Committee on Constitutional Review to present the report back to us tomorrow on Wednesday for further legislative action. And I've always emphasized that even the current governors will one day leave office. They should not be afraid of the state police that they created. And therefore, there will be a lot of safeguards.
We need a minimum of 2/3 of distinguished senators to be able to vote on constitutional alteration. That means it is important for all of us to be here. And I know that members of public who elected us will also be interested in knowing those who actually participated in this constitutional responsibility. The issue of state police is an issue now that cuts across all political parties.
As the push for state police gains momentum, lawmakers are expected to consolidate both proposals currently before the upper chamber on the next legislative day. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the lawmaker representing Kebbi South Senatorial District, Mr. Garba Maidoki, says state police is not the solution to Nigeria's security challenge. Speaking on our political program, Politics Today, Mr. Maidoki explains that Nigeria has laws that need to be practiced to notice the gaps, as there is no guarantee that any alteration can solve insecurity.
You know, some of us that work in multinational company will always want best practice to be brought home. It's true. We realize that whenever best practice is brought here, something somehow we degenerated it and make useless and nonsense of it. The principles in themselves are not bad. But what we are saying is, saying we have laws, let's practice what we have first, so that we can see the difference and we can see the gap. Whatever is in the law today has no meaning, has not been practiced. So what is the guarantee that all alteration, anything can be practiced?
So you don't believe in what the president
No, I don't believe.
You don't think it will work?
No, I don't believe.
You don't think it will fix our security situation?
No, I don't believe so.
While the nation gears up for the creation of state police, the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Diso, is reaffirming the commitment of the Nigeria Police to resume the enforcement of the law on illegal use of cars with tinted glasses. Speaking in Abuja while hosting the leadership of the Nigeria Bar Association, Mr. Diso says criminal elements are abusing the use of tinted glasses, which is fueling insecurity in the country.
It is the first official visit of the leadership of the Nigeria Bar Association to the 23rd Indigenous Inspector General of Police, Mr. Olatunji Diso.
We enforce the law.
Issues of bail condition, police welfare, and tinted glass permit dominate discussion as the Nigeria Bar Association pledges to collaborate with the Nigeria Police Force to combat insecurity and improve law enforcement.
This is opportunity to note that bail has become a primitive thing. That in our police stations, in our courts, in AFCC offices, ICPC offices, bail is being given with the intention that the people will not enjoy it. So we deny bail by pretending to give it. And the worst part of it, we have issued a statement about this last week, is that it has now seemed to becoming a norm that in some police stations, because I'm in the police, I limit myself to the police, when bail is granted, they say you will pay a director or senior civil servant.
In his response to the issues raised, the Inspector General of Police admits that bail condition is being abused, but assures that the situation and others affecting investigation is being addressed.
That was not what we were taught. Give bail to anybody responsible that will be able to bring the person when we want them. Go and check their house, be sure that they have given you correct addresses and they have means of livelihood. Women can stand as shorty for anybody.
As a result of the evolving security threat bedeviling the nation, the Inspector General of Police defends the plan to enforce the law against the use of cars with tinted glasses.
When I was the Commissioner of Police FCT, and we started the operation against One Chance, and we went all out for them, and we recovered 27 vehicles used by One Chance. 26 or 25 out of these vehicles were tinted. So we got the idea that kidnappers and those doing One Chance, in fact, One Chance is armed robbery, it's abduction. We are tinting their glasses deliberately for that. People are moving around with very, very dark vehicles. There is nowhere that is acceptable anywhere in the world. And in this country, it is not acceptable to us in charge of security.
The meeting between the Nigeria Bar Association and the police is aimed at collaborating to promote the rule of law and respect for people's rights.
In crime news, the Lagos State Police Command says investigation is progressing over a suspicious parcel containing live ammunition delivered to the Managing Director of First Bank, Mr. Oluwasegun Alebioshu. The Commissioner of Police, Lagos State Command, Mr. Tijani Fatai, spoke on the incident today while addressing journalists at the command headquarters in Ikeja. He adds that the parcel was earlier received by the Managing Director's security guard before it was handed over to him, but forensic investigations will determine the circumstances surrounding the delivery.
Precisely on the 7th of May this year, the director of 4th Band reported that he collected a parcel that was collected for him by his guard in his house, and when he opened the parcel, he saw 2 ammunitions, precisely live ammunitions, precisely 7.62 live live ammunition, and that arose a lot of suspicion, and there and there we went to investigation into the matter. But presently, I can confirm to you that the matter is still under investigation. It's a serious case, and I think the investigation needs to be more thorough than we think of. So we are still on the investigation of that matter. Presently, no suspect in custody, even though the MD has mentioned some people he thinks that he's suspected to have been the brain behind it. That is his suspicion anyway. But we are still working with this.
To Plateau State, and in the aftermath of the recent attack on Kawel community that claimed 25 lives, the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 4, Mr. Maurice Dankwambo, has assured residents of Bokos local government area of increased security. Speaking to journalists after an assessment of the affected communities, the AIG disclosed that additional police personnel will be deployed to the area for round-the-clock patrols to restore public confidence and prevent further attacks. The police chief said normalcy is gradually returning to the affected communities, while investigations are ongoing to apprehend those responsible for the attack.
In compliance to the directives of the Inspector General of Police, based on the incident that happened, to personally visit the affected areas on the spot assessment, and I have seen the level of damage, and I've assured the communities that has been affected that more men will be deployed in the affected areas who can patrol, who will be on standby so that they can give the members of the community confidence. So far, so good. Normalcy has been returned in the affected areas, and people are going about pursuing their normal business. And I have told the affected communities that the police is doing everything humanly possible to ensure that the perpetrators of this evil act will be brought to book. Nobody is above the law, and equally above the affected communities that they should be law abiding, they should be patient. Nobody should take the law into their hands. Let them allow the security agencies to do their work.
In part 2, after the break, former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai opts for a no-case submission in his ongoing trial over alleged security breaches as the Department of State Services closes prosecution proceedings. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Tinubu transmits a constitutional amendment bill to the Senate seeking state police creation to strengthen security and reshape Nigeria's policing architecture. Lagos State Police Command begin investigation into the delivery of a suspicious parcel containing live ammunition to the managing director of First Bank PLC, Oluwasegun Alebioshu. Federal government reaffirms its commitment to tackling various security challenges threatening national and regional peace as National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu promises continued partnerships to combat threats. And U.S. President Donald Trump says there will be no further U.S. naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, insisting Iran has agreed to nuclear inspections despite denials. The federal government is reaffirming its commitment to tackling the various security challenges threatening the peace of the country and the African region. Speaking in Abuja at the 4th Nigeria-United Kingdom Security and Defense Dialogue, the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu says Nigeria remains committed to leading the Gulf of Guinea to promote regional peace and democratic governance, economic resilience, and collective security.
It is the 4th Nigeria-United Kingdom Security and Defense Dialogue as security experts from both countries converged on the conference hall of the National Security Advisor in Abuja.
Complementing strength of our partnership.
The issue of effective partnership to tackle insecurity is the focus of this dialogue.
Nigeria remains firmly committed to confronting these challenges through a whole of government and a whole of society approach. Significant progress has been made in degrading terrorists and criminal networks operating within our borders. Nevertheless, we remain mindful that these threats are dynamic, adaptive, and increasingly technology-driven. Accordingly, we must continue to strengthen our collective ability not only to respond to crises, but to anticipate and prevent them. The evolving security situation in West Africa and the wider Sahel region continues to demand our close attention.
With a pledge to stronger partnership, the British government identifies some of the drivers of insecurity and the need for effective collaboration to tackle them.
We need to get the basics right, but we want to address the problems of overstretch and of especially protecting women and girls. And it's also about logistics of making sure our troops, for example, are fully supported and our people on the front line are getting what they need to get. We think that modern security demands are changing, and we particularly have experienced this in the Ukraine war, but also the war in Iran. The importance of drones and uncrewed systems, which increasingly, unfortunately, are being picked up by terrorists, and we need to find ways of dealing with those. The counter-drone work we've been doing in Ukraine, for example, I think you'll find very interesting. And we do find cyber resilience absolutely fundamental. Again, we're really pleased to be working in partnership with you on that.
The meeting, which continued behind closed doors, attracted heads of security agencies, service chiefs, and security experts from Nigeria and the United Kingdom.
To the courts, and Justice Joyce Abdulmalik of the Federal High Court in Abuja has refused an application by former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai seeking a review of his bail conditions in the ongoing alleged wiretapping trial. Justice Abdulmalik held that the existing bail terms remain valid, dismissing the defense's argument that the conditions were too stringent and difficult to satisfy. She ruled that level 17 civil servants who own property in Maitama or Asokoro, as required by the bail terms, are available and capable of meeting the conditions. Meanwhile, the DSS formally closed its case against Mr. El-Rufai at today's proceedings after informing the court that it will not call additional witnesses. Following the closure of the prosecution's case, the defense indicated its intention to file a no-case submission, arguing that the DSS had failed to establish sufficient evidence to warrant Mr. El-Rufai entering a defense. The defense requested 2 weeks to file the application, while the prosecution asked for an additional 2 weeks to respond. The matter was then subsequently adjourned to September the 22nd this year for the filing of the no-case submission and further proceedings. In Kaduna, the State Police Command has arraigned 24 suspects in connection with a mob killing of a woman in Maraban, Jos area of Igabi local government area of the state. The suspects were brought before a magistrate court sitting in the state as investigations continue into the incident that has drawn condemnation from the Kaduna state government.
The alleged killing of the woman, Umur Kari Usman, occurred on Sunday, June the 21st, 2026, at Maraban, Jos, a busy community in Igbabi local government area of Kaduna State. According to police reports, the victim was accused by some residents of being involved in criminal activities. Following the allegation, she was apprehended and taken into police custody. However, before due process could be completed, a large crowd reportedly gathered at the police facility, demanding that the suspect be handed over to them. The situation escalated into violence as the mob allegedly overpowered the police personnel, removed the woman from custody, and killed her. The incident sparked widespread outrage and renewed concern over the persistent mob justice in some parts of the state. In response, the Kaduna State Police Command launched an investigation to identify those responsible for the attack, leading to the arrest and subsequent arraignment of 24 suspects. On Tuesday, June the 23rd, the suspects were arraigned before a magistrate court sitting in the state capital for multiple charges ranging from criminal conspiracy, inciting public disturbance, to destruction of public and police property, as well as culpable homicide. At the court session, the matter was mentioned and adjourned until July the 21st, 2026 for further hearing. The court ordered that all the defendants remain in police custody pending the determination of the case.
And as you are all aware that a lot of people were arrested in connection to this case, 23 of them or 24 of them were thoroughly screened and investigated. We arraigned them to the magistrate court. We have arraigned them. Out of them, there are 4 women, remaining are men. And I can tell you the truth, as beginning from today, more of them may be arraigned, depending with the outcome of the investigation. We have been very, very careful to ensure that no innocent person is made to pass through the wrong door. But for those who participated, we can assure the public that the law will take its course, irrespective of whose motive is being affected. This is the assurances I'm giving as the OC Legal of the Command and having the permission of the PPRO to speak.
The Kaduna State Police Command further disclosed that over 100 additional suspects are still under investigation for their alleged roles in the incident and may be charged if found culpable.
So let's head to the nation's capital now, and Gloria Mizioke is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Gloria.
Many thanks, Ayo. Here in Abuja, the Independent National Electoral Commission has presented the certificate of return to the Ekiti State Governor-elect and candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Mr. Biodun Uyebanji. The legal instrument of office was handed over to the governor-elect and his deputy at a brief ceremony held on Tuesday at the Commission's state headquarters in Ado-Ekiti. Speaking shortly after receiving the certificate, Governor Uyebanji expressed deep appreciation to the people of the state for breaking a multi-decade political jinx by voting for him for a consecutive second term, even as he described the certificate as a sacred covenant between his administration and the people.
We are 37 years old as a state. This has been the most peaceful campaign in the history of the state. Peaceful election for the history of the state. And that is change and the reports that we are bringing to bear in the political punch of the people. And I promise that it is people that serve will continue to serve them with humility, with the fear of God, and commitment to those values that we hold very dear. I also invite all other contestants to join hands with us in our quest to continue implementation of our shared prosperity. I have had phone conversation with 2 of them, and I've visited 1 of them, and I'll continue to these others so that we can align our policies and programs in the interest of our people. So my party members, I say everything.
In his remarks during the event, the INEC National Commissioner supervising the state, Sam Olumeko, commended the electorate, security agencies and political parties for their peaceful and mature conduct during the polls.
I commend the good people of Ekiti State for their peaceful conduct during the election. Other candidates who contested the election but lost also deserve to be praised because we are all winners. May I use this occasion to plead with observers to be circumspect in issuing reports because their findings are usually based on sampling methods as against the scientific and physical reports upon which INEC reports its findings.
Meanwhile, the electoral umpire INEC has also presented certificates of return to successful candidates who were declared winners of Saturday's elections in parts of Rivers, Nasarawa, Ondo, Enugu, Kano, and Kebbi states. The elections were conducted to fill vacancies in the Senate, House of Representatives, and the Kebbi State House of Assembly owing to resignation or death of lawmakers in the affected senatorial districts and constituencies. National Commissioner Mrs. May Agbamuche, who represented the INEC chairman, urged the newly elected lawmakers to live up to their expectations.
The National Commissioner, representing South-South Geopolitical Zone, is representing the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission at this ceremony to present certificates of return to winners of Saturday's by-elections held in Nasarawa, Kebbi, Kano, Ondo, Rivers, and Enugu states. In attendance are the newly elected lawmakers, some of their political party leaders, as well as family and friends. The agenda of the day is the presentation of certificates of return, and the representative of the INEC chairman commences the process with an opening remarks.
I want to thank God for we had a very peaceful election, and it was actually free from any form of violence, and for this we're grateful to the politicians who have had all their supporters in control. That's basically what has happened here. Today, INEC will be issuing your certificates of return, and we pray you represent your people very well. That's what matters most to us. Also, this day, the certificate of return will also be issued in Kebbi for Zuru State constituency and in Ekiti for the governorship election, which was also held on the 20th of June.
One after another, winners of the Saturday by-elections step forward as INEC commissioners representing each of the zones hands over the certificates of return to the successful candidates. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, held by-elections for senatorial offices in Enugu, Nasarawa North, Ondo South, and Rivers South-East senatorial districts.
The election in Nasarawa North was peaceful, was placid, and was very orderly. Our supporters and members of the APC in particular were very orderly, and they did not allow themselves to be overwhelmed by any provocation. And I think that was why it was successful. I think that a good choice has been made, and we are not expecting anything less.
The exercise also held for Dawakin Kuduwarawa Federal Constituency in Kano State, as well as Zuru State Constituency in Kebbi State.
Well, still ahead on the news at 10, the World Bank reports that Nigeria and 8 other nations dominate global gas flaring, accounting for 83% of total volumes in 2025. Well, that's in business news. Please join us again. Welcome back as to watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. Still in the FCT, the minister, Mr. Nyesom Wike, says the ongoing infrastructural transformation of Abuja is beyond politics, stressing that development projects across territory will continue regardless of the political season. Mr. Wike made the remarks during the flag-off of the construction of 2 service carriageways along the Southern Parkway in Abuja. Our correspondent, Benny Ork, reports.
This is the flag-off of the construction of 2 service carriageways along the Southern Parkway in Gadwa district as part of efforts to improve road infrastructure and ease traffic movement in the Federal Capital Territory.
Other members of the Federal Executive Council.
The event drew the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, representing President Bola Tinubu, the FCT Minister, members of the National Assembly, area council officials, and other government functionaries. The Acting Executive Secretary of the Federal Capital Development Authority, FCDA, outlined the scope and expected benefits of the project.
The Southern Parkway is one of the major roads of the Southern Development Corridor. Your Excellency, when completed, the road will greatly reduce and ameliorate the daily heavy vehicular traffic congestion currently being experienced on the existing roads that are around here.
Addressing the gathering, the FCT Minister says the administration will not allow politics to slow down the delivery of critical infrastructure across the territory.
So many people have been asking questions. Are you saying that after commissioning of these projects, now that we are going into politics, there will be no more projects to be embarked upon? We said no, politics or no politics, we must continue to do that which Mr. President has directed, to make sure that we change the entire landscape of the Federal Capital Territory.
Before the flag-off, the national chairman of the APC, representing President Bola Tinubu, commended the minister's infrastructural achievement and called on Nigerians to support the federal government's development agenda.
3 years of this administration, the reforms are tough, but necessary. The results are here. The roads and bridges, the rails and housing. We are laying foundation for a new Nigeria that works, and works for all, and for our common prosperity. Stay with us, support us, stand by the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President. The best of Abuja and the best of Nigeria are still ahead of us.
With the flag-off now complete, attention shifts to the timely execution of the project and its promised benefits for residents of the Federal Capital Territory. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to you, Ayo, in Lagos.
Thank you so much, Gloria. GMH Luxury Homes Limited, an award-winning real estate development and construction company, marked Father's Day 2026 with an exclusive event in Lagos. The private gathering celebrated fathers and male leaders for their vital roles and family pillars and builders of enduring legacies in society.
Special guests at the event came from various sectors, including the clergy, medical profession, and founder CEO of GMH Luxury Homes Limited, Ayolariwaju Kuyebi. In his opening remarks, the MD CEO of GMH Luxury Homes Limited said the company chose to celebrate men through its Elite Men Code initiative.
GMH as a brand, we decided that it's high time we start celebrating the fathers, the men, the daddies. It's time for us to gather and to learn from the best so that we can recharge, we can reflect, and we have the opportunity to equally relaunch. And that is why we are gathered here today.
Consultant family physician Dr. Ayobami Oyeniyi shared his insight on men's health and wellness.
Doctor, I really don't have time. My schedule is so tight. Put a drug in the car, put one in the house, put one in the office. So if you miss the one at home, you cannot miss the one in the car. If you miss the one in the car, you cannot miss the one in the office.
Other speakers highlighted the importance of strength, purpose, and wealth creation.
On this special Father's Day, I need all of us to understand that we need to pay attention to the state of our spirit. You need a strong spirit to withstand whatever the devil wants to bring your way.
A multiple streams of income means that you have different streams working for you. You have income coming from different dimensions without you having to be physically involved. You don't have to exchange your time, you don't have to exchange your energy. Money is the one doing the work.
Established in 2015, the real estate firm, known for its premium tech-enabled luxury homes, said it is committed not only to delivering world-class housing, but also to promoting men's well-being.
Marriages are scattering at an alarming rate now. So we need to begin to equip our fathers, our daddies, our responsible men for what it requires to be a man at the gate of their home.
GMH Luxury Homes said its Father's Day initiatives links property investment with fatherhood, stressing that just as strong foundations sustain premium real estate, a father's love, sacrifice and guidance build thriving families and lasting generational wealth.
A new era has begun for one of Nigeria's leading building solutions companies. Lafarge Africa PLC has officially unveiled its new corporate identity and name, HBM Nigeria PLC, marking a new milestone in its transformation journey. The company says the change will not affect operations, customers, shareholders, or the company's investment in the nation's growth and development.
The Grand Hall glows in green as leading building solutions company Lafarge Africa PLC, in partnership with Wasson Building Materials Group, unveils its new corporate identity as HBM Nigeria PLC.
Welcome to HBM Nigeria PLC. Remember watching, make some noise!
The event draws staff, stakeholders, industry leaders, Nollywood stars, and distinguished guests from across key sectors to witness the transformation. With over 6 decades under their belt, the rebrand reflects the company's strategic alignment with its new shareholder structure while reinforcing its position as a key player in Nigeria's building and construction sector.
I can spend a whole year talking about my journey with Lafarge. Though they were very strict, but their quality was impeccable.
Company executives and stakeholders alike describe the new identity as a forward-looking step driven by innovation, sustainability, operational excellence, and long-term value creation.
As you know, we are currently working on Shagamu expansion. By God's grace, by January 2027, we'll commission that plant, and the same thing for Ashaka. So it's a new dawn for us, and we're very excited about this partnership. It will mean more jobs, more youth empowerment, benefit from the community, and obviously from our consumers' point of view, there will be a lot of benefits in this new partnership.
As part of the Huaxin Group, we are very excited to get into Nigeria. We're working very hard with people here. We will keep investing in the people, in our technology, in the infrastructure, and help Nigeria and help our Nigerian people.
For HBM Nigeria, the rebrand signals a new chapter of growth, innovation, community impact, and continued commitment to supporting Nigeria's economic growth and infrastructural development.
Miva Open University has graduated its pioneer class in a landmark ceremony held at the Wole Soyinka Center. For the first time, a fully digital-first university in Nigeria gathered its online students physically in one hall, while thousands more followed the event live online. Delivering the keynote address, His Royal Highness Muhammadu Sanusi II, the Emir of Kano, urged the graduates to expand relentlessly until the world makes space for their ambition.
History unfolds in Lagos. After years of online lectures, midnight deadlines, and balancing study with life, Miva Open University's pioneer graduates finally take the stage. A digital institution steps into the physical world for its defining moment.
There's no limit, no hesitation.
Meva Open University marks its maiden convocation, celebrating its pioneer class, the first undergraduate and postgraduate cohort since its 2023 launch. His Royal Highness Khalifa Mohammed Sanusi II, CON Sarakin Kanu, economist and former central bank governor, delivers the keynote. His charge, expand your capabilities until the world makes room for you, a call to ambition, leadership, scholarship, and service.
No one can take away from you your education, your integrity, your courage, your principles. Those are things you own.
Beyond ceremony and celebration, this moment stands larger than one graduating class. Vice-Chancellor Professor Tayo Arulogun calls it Meva's inflection point, a shift from promise to proof. It reflects what digital-first education in Nigeria can achieve: resilient graduates who balanced work, family, and rigorous study, now stepping into full public recognition.
And this is actually a key milestone for Meva Open University, because we are championing a new way of teaching and studying and educating people that brings flexibility without compromising the quality.
It represents a saying that a new form of learning is possible and that Nigeria is leading the way in this new form of learning. It represents hope for many people that cannot get into universities. There is quality, affordable education.
1,280 graduates crossed the stage, each carrying stories of persistence, late nights, and learning through screens while managing real-life world demands. They are no longer online learners, they are alumni. Proof that excellence can be built here by us, for us.
I'm proud of myself. I want to encourage people who want to come to Meva. Yes, it is an online program, but it is painstaking. I believe in excellence.
The maiden convocation ends, but for Meva Open University, this marks the beginning of a new era in digital education in Nigeria. Ewa Oluwa Ogunbodede, Channels Television News.
It's time for some business news with Will Ibom.
Thank you, Ayotunde. Nigeria and 8 other countries accounted for 83% of global gas flaring in 2025, and that's according to the World Bank's latest global gas flaring tracker. The report shows gas flaring rose for a third straight year, reaching a 6-year high of 167 billion cubic meters, despite global efforts to curb the practice. Russia, Iran, Iraq, Venezuela, Mexico, Libya, Algeria, Nigeria, and the United States are responsible for more than 4/5 of gas flared worldwide. In Africa, Libya, Algeria, and Nigeria remain major contributors, collectively flaring over 25 billion cubic meters last year. Nigeria's upstream regulator says about 6.08 billion cubic meters were flared in 2025, slightly below the World Bank's estimate of 6.6 billion, citing differences between satellite and field data. The Commission says Nigeria remains committed to ending routine gas flaring by 2030 through gas commercialization programs. Meanwhile, Nigeria's renewable energy market is seeing strong growth, projected to reach 14.07 gigawatts by 2031. And this is driven by grid instability and high diesel costs. Now we see demand for solar energy is rising, with the sector estimated to offer up to $50 billion in investment opportunities. Speaking on Business Morning, next Principal Manager for Renewable Energy Development, Adamu Ibrahim, says Nigerians with excess solar power can export electricity and receive compensation from distribution companies.
Since we have a lot of solar adoption in the country, we want to encourage people to put more solar panels and be able to export their surpluses and get something. This will increase the reliability on the grid. The prosumer is typically somebody that is also connected to the DISCO network, which means it's importing energy from the DISCO network. And at the same time, at certain times of the day, probably when the sun is high or his batteries are charged, his surplus, instead of lying waste, doing nothing, so he can now export it and get like compensation to offset part of his energy that he has imported from the disco network.
And bullish momentum was sustained at the domestic equities market today as investors tracked Airtel Africa. Larry Williams tells us more.
All right, so we have more action today. We're close to the green from an intraday high of about 240,802 points. We settled 1.06 higher, just at 743 points over 240,000. 154 trillion, that's for the market cap. And we see yesterday it was MTN Nigeria and Tier 1 banks driving up the market. Today it's Airtel Africa with a full 10% gain. I did check corporate disclosures earlier on NGX website. There was a share buyback over 200,000 units between the 15th to the 17th of June. So it's another buyback. And today we had more volume and value of trades, up 15 and 7%. So it's another green trade. We'll see if we continue for the midweek trade.
Thank you, Laddie. And let's check out the closing numbers for other major stock markets now. And that's business news. I am Will Ibang. It's back to you, Ayotunde.
Many thanks, Will. Iran had agreed to long-term high-level nuclear inspections, and further negotiations without such an agreement will not be allowed. And that's coming from U.S. President Donald Trump. He says he agreed to let the Strait of Hormuz remain open and avoid a further naval blockade. Here's Simon Pusey with more international news and Around the World in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Iran has denied a claim by Vice President J.D. Vance that it will allow nuclear inspectors back into the country after the first round of talks between Washington and Tehran to reach a final deal to end the war. Following negotiations in Switzerland, J.D. Vance said the discussions with the International Atomic Energy Agency could be happening as soon as today. But Iran's foreign ministry told state media that Tehran had made no commitments on nuclear inspections. Iran and the US continued to share conflicting remarks on the nuclear issue on Tuesday. At least 312 schools across England and Wales have closed fully or partially due to soaring temperatures. A rare red warning for extreme heat comes into force for parts of England and Wales later as the UK is bracing for its hottest June day on record, with temperatures forecast to rise above 35 degrees Celsius. Overnight storms in southeast England caused flooding and travel disruption, with at least 2 house fires blamed on the weather. There were 29,000 flashes of lightning last night and early this morning across England. Meanwhile, 40 people have drowned in France since the heatwave began on Thursday. The UN Secretary-General, Antonio Guterres, has blamed the record temperatures on climate change and has called for a fast, fair transition to clean energy during an address at London Climate Action Week.
Around the world, climate disasters are becoming more frequent, more destructive and more costly. And the World Meteorological Organization has warned we ain't seen nothing yet. El Niño is not just knocking on the door, it risks blowing the house down.
A UN Commission of Inquiry says Israel has deliberately targeted Palestinian children, resulting in genocide, crimes against humanity and war crimes in the Gaza Strip, as well as war crimes in the occupied West Bank. A new report alleges that Israeli authorities and security forces have deliberately carried out acts inflicting death and severe bodily and mental harm on hundreds of thousands of Palestinian children. Israel's foreign ministry said it utterly rejects the Commission's report, calling it a libelous sham and a propaganda piece as outrageous as its previous ones.
In Palestine, Gaza, we have seen over 20,000
children killed directly as a result of the violence. That does not include children who have not been identified, those who are buried under the rubble. It's only identified bodies of children, and it's around 22,000 now that have been identified and counted.
More than a year after the death of Zambia's former president, Edgar Lungu, his family have won their appeal to have his body buried in South Africa where he died, overturning a High Court ruling that allowed the Zambian government to repatriate the corpse. It is not clear whether the ruling at the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein finally puts to rest the legal battle over what should happen to his remains, following a long-standing feud between Lungu and his successor. All eyes will be on the Zambian government's next move as its lawyers await instruction. It has long maintained that as former head of state, Lungu should be honoured in the country. Action. Kenya's Health Minister Aden Duale has halted the construction of a controversial US-funded Ebola quarantine facility in the country a day after he was found in contempt of court for ignoring a judge's ruling. Appearing in court on Tuesday, Duale apologised and said he had directed the immediate and complete cessation of building work at a military base in the town of Nanyuki. The quarantine facility, which caused anger on the streets of the town, was intended for US citizens who were suspected to have contracted Ebola in the current outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Authorities in South Sudan have said the long-delayed first ever vote in the country will take place in December. The leaders of the world's youngest country have not yet been tested at the ballot box since independence in 2011, and President Salva Kiir has been in office for 15 years. According to the original plan, the general election was supposed to have happened in 2015, but the civil war meant that had to be postponed. And a kangaroo has led wildlife officers on a merry hop around Boucherville near Montreal after bounding out of a stable and going on the run for several days. Nicknamed Joey by his rescuers, the marsupial was finally sedated and bundled into an ambulance from Grand Prix Zoo, which will be his new permanent home. Officials couldn't move in sooner as they needed the right permits before approaching an escaped kangaroo in suburban Quebec. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Many thanks indeed, Simon. Here in the world of sports, the Nigeria Football Federation and National Sports Commission has reached an agreement on the renewal of Super Eagles head coach Eric Shell's contract, with the new deal expected to run until 2030. Shell will also oversee the Nigeria Under-23 national team, with the composition of his technical crew to be announced by the NFF, with the coach expected to earn around $100,000 under the new contract, subject to official confirmation. The NFF has identified qualification for next AFCON as a key short-term objective, while its long-term strategic focus is now on securing qualification for the 2030 FIFA World Cup. Let's turn to the World Cup now, where Cristiano Ronaldo has become the first player to score in 6 World Cup campaigns and silenced his critics as the Portugal captain struck twice in a 5-0 demolition of Uzbekistan earlier today. The big win in Houston put Portugal on the brink of the knockout rounds, and it's a resounding response to the 41-year-old's doubters. Ronaldo's goal after 6 minutes made history, trumping even Lionel Messi by scoring at 6 World Cups, stretching back to 2006. After Nuno Mendes made it 2-0, Ronaldo neatly got his second with a cool finish 6 minutes before the break. And DR Congo returned to Mexico and the scene of their World Cup qualification on Wednesday morning, with midfielder Aaron Shibola embracing the underdog role against Colombia and urging his teammates to seize another chance to extend a landmark campaign. Back at the Guadalajara Stadium, where they qualified for the finals via a playoff win over Jamaica, DR Congo faced Colombia in Group K, with Shibola describing their opponent clear favorites. Neymar and his Brazil teammates train ahead of their World Cup match against Scotland earlier today. The Group C encounter in Miami will be the 5th meeting of the nations on the biggest stage, making it one of the most played fixtures in tournament history. Brazil are without Barcelona forward Rafinha due to injury, but this could be the occasion for Neymar to finally make his return to the Seleção. But that's sports. I'm Kelly. Eggy gets back to Ayotunde.
And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu has transmitted a constitutional amendment bill to the Senate seeking state police creation to strengthen security and reshape Nigeria's policing architecture. And the Lagos State Police Command began investigation into the delivery of a suspicious parcel containing live ammunition to the Managing Director of First Bank PLC, Oluwasegun Alebioshu. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Do have a good night.